So my goal tonight is to take you on a journey, basically to tell you a bunch of stories about how I became a female founder of a nonprofit called Mama Hope. But before we do that, I would like you guys all to take a deep breath, let it out, and then I want everyone to close their eyes. And once you've done that, I want you to picture the face of the person that you love the most in the world. I want you to picture their eyes and imagine their smile and think about how they make you feel. And then once you see that person, I want you to take a moment to send them some love. I want you to feel that love leaving you, traveling through the universe, and being received by that person. And once you've done that, will you please open your eyes? So, not yet. So the person for me is my mother. And there she is, and that's me. And words to describe my mother: she is fiery. She's an entrepreneur. She's a feminist. She also was a revolutionary. She was a part of the White Panthers when the Black Panthers were really big, and she wanted to change the world. And she was my sole role model because I am an only daughter raised by a single mother. For most of my life, it was unclear where I began and she ended. At times, we were the best of friends. Other times, we were the worst enemies. But no matter what, we had unconditional love. And the thing that was really incredible about us is that people said we were like bookends. So I have a very clear memory, which was just a couple weeks after my 26th birthday. I was in a car with my best friend, and we were just singing at the top of our lungs, and my phone rang, and it was my mother. And I made him turn down the radio because I heard that her voice was really shaky. And she said, "Nyla, you need to turn around and come and pick me up and take me to the hospital because something is terribly wrong." And so an hour later, I found myself in an emergency room holding my mother's hand and hearing from a doctor that she had 4th-stage ovarian cancer and that she had 6 months to live. And after that doctor left the room, I remember taking her and looking at her and being like, this guy doesn't know us. Like, we're gonna beat this. We are going to do this together. And the very next week, I moved in with my mother and became her main caretaker. And she couldn't really sleep at night. And instead, we would dream about all the things that she would do once she beat cancer. And the main thing that we kept coming back to is a trip we were going to take to Kenya to meet an orphan named Bernard that she sponsored there. But that trip never happened because on January 2nd of 2006, again, I held her hand and I watched her take her last breath. And she was surrounded by her friends and family. And the moment that that happened, a piece of me died. And I felt like an orphan, and I felt my heart break. And I started to give up. But the universe had something else completely in store for me, and it wasn't going to let me give up just yet. So about a week after my mom passed away, I got offered a job to go work in Kenya, in Bernard's village. It was totally by coincidence. I don't know how it happened, but a month later, I boarded a plane to go and meet him. When I arrived to Bernard's village, this is what I found. Hundreds of people under a canopy waiting for me. And I learned it was because my mother had given this community $1,000, which had allowed them to, like, these women to start their own businesses and had completely transformed everything. Basically, the women had HIV/AIDS. It allowed them to get medicines that changed their lives and kept them alive. Their children stayed in school. There were less orphans on the street, and everything was transformed. And the minute that they saw me, they broke out singing Amazing Grace, which was what sang at my mom's funeral just a month before. And I stood there and I thought about my mother, who was terrified of flying and never left her home, but had made an impact for all these people that she would never meet. And at that point, in front of this crowd, I was presented with a statue of 2 giraffes embracing. And they said, your mother was like a giraffe. She had the vision to see her feet and the vision to see far beyond. And it's obvious that you are a giraffe as well. And just like I asked you to do, to send love to that person that you love the most, I didn't know it, but in my life, I was sending my mom love all the time. And once she was not there, that love had turned into grief. And it was just kind of plaguing me, like, what do you do with the leftover love you have for someone after they're gone? And what I realized is I wanted to give it back to this community. I wanted to give it to communities just like it. I wanted to listen to their needs, and I wanted to fund their projects. And that's how Mama Hope began. So Mama Hope is real progress, not just aid. We've completed 22 successful projects since 2007, and we've improved the lives of 150,000 people. We do schools, water projects, health clinics. The projects are different every single time because they're up to the community. And often people are asking me, like, what is the key to your success? And you know, it's not our fundraising, and it's not our viral videos or social media. It's something that's really simple. And it's something that if any of you travel with me to Africa, you could do. It's a choice. It's every time I come to a community and I have my first interaction with them. Usually I'm the only white person for like hundreds of miles. And I'm in a crowd like this, except everybody is sitting on the ground. And they have a chair that's designated for me to sit in. And I have a choice. Do I sit in that chair, or do I go and I sit on the ground in the dirt with the women? And the secret to my success is that every time I go and I sit with the women, something amazing happens with that choice. Basically, the women, they all scoot closer to me. And someone maybe will grab my hand. Everyone starts to smile. And it doesn't matter that I don't speak their language or that I'm from another place. I'm no longer an outsider. I am now their friend, I'm their daughter, I'm their sister, and we are in this together. This is solidarity where this starts. And this is where every single Mama Hope project starts. It's about us doing it together. It's a partnership from the ground up. So it's really easy to talk about your successes and not really talk about the pitfalls that happened along the way or the times that you're ashamed about. And so tonight I'm going to share one of those with you. It's pretty much the most shameful moment of my life, and I definitely have never said it to a group this big because it's not something that I really want to be part of my story. The very first project that we did was a health clinic called Mama Tumaini, which means Mama Hope in Swahili, in honor of my mother. And the night before this health clinic was going to launch, I was at the construction site. And I was just a tornado of emotion. I was running around, I was screaming at people, I was yelling about the paint, I was just flipping out about everything. And my boyfriend at the time was standing off to the side watching me just have a meltdown. And he took me aside and he looked at me, he was like, what the hell is wrong with you? You're gonna ruin this whole entire thing. And I said, but it has to be perfect. You have to understand this launch has to be perfect. And he took me and he looked at me and he said something that I'll never forget. He said, Nyla, even if this launch is perfect, it's not gonna bring your mother back. And I remember those words just sucker punching me in the stomach and slumping down and sobbing because I was so ashamed because I realized that a part of me really believed that. Part of me believed that when that ribbon was cut and those doors opened, she was gonna walk through the doors and she was gonna be alive and she was gonna be healthy and things were gonna go back to normal. And sitting on the ground and crying there, I had to think like, what is Mama Hope about? Is it about me? Is it about my grief? Or is it about something so much bigger than that? Because the only way it's actually gonna make an impact is if it's not about me. And that's when I decided it was all about the women. It was all about the communities that we could help. And I let go of that grief and I let go of that anger. And I just focused on all of the evolution and the way that we could help each other. And that's when Mama Hope really took a turning point. One of the things about the women is they have taught me how to be a female leader. The women in Africa, they do not want to be men. They have no interest in being men. They want to be women and they want to own it. And one of the things they do is they collaborate. On everything, they collaborate. If a woman has a bank, she's trying to figure out how every single person can benefit. And just like what this is happening tonight with our generation of women coming together, we're collaborating because we want to see all of us thrive. So that is something that I bring to my leadership. The next thing is that we nurture. We try to figure out people that need our mentorship, and we look to them. And in communities, we have something called Trainer for Trainers, which is basically someone has an expertise, and they teach their whole entire community that, so people can go out into the greater community, so everyone has this moment where they learn things like microfinance or drip irrigation gardens or how to build a pond. And the way that we've taken that back is we've created an institute for people that want to do development work. And we basically mentor them and partner them with our communities, and then they mentor the next class. And we love to celebrate. I mean, come on, ladies. And I know that as a leader, it's really hard to actually celebrate your small wins. But that's actually what's going to get you to that greater goal. And that's something that I see when I'm with the women in Africa, that basically all the small things we are singing, we are dancing, we are totally celebrating. And that is something that I bring here. When my staff or Mama Hope has a small win, we take the time to acknowledge that, to be grateful, and to celebrate. So, stopping the pity. I'm wearing this shirt. It's something that has just become part of who I am. And I think for people that haven't been to Africa and haven't met these incredible women, it's really easy to just fall back on the stereotypes. Words like rape victim, orphan, widow, someone with AIDS. And the truth is, in this picture, all of those people exist. I know the stories of these women. I know them personally. But they don't want your pity. Those stories are just part of their life. And they've managed to get over them, and they don't want to be seen as that. So what's great about stopping the pity is it's something that we can all decide to do. We can decide tonight, we're not going to feel sorry for people anymore. We're not going to feel sorry for ourselves, which I think is really part of the key of all of it. And what happens when we stop the pity is that we're able to unlock the potential of ourselves, and unlock the potential of everyone around us. So I want to end on this, the idea that every woman's potential is infinite. And that's really what the journey has taught me. My mom, even though she was terrified of flying, was able to help people across the world because she didn't give up. When I lost the most important person inside of me, I didn't break down. I went out and I created an organization. And tonight, these incredible women that are here trying to redefine a word that has kind of kept us down. And then these awesome women that I know that, despite all the hardship they go through, are trying to figure out how to transform their communities. So I want you to leave realizing that. I want you to own it as women. I want you to own it as people, that it takes us changing our perception to allow other people to reach their potential. And now we're going to show a video that I think exemplifies that. So thank you. Okay, we got to start it over. New York, California. Yeah, different song isn't.
We love netball. You don't know netball? There are 7 players. 60 minutes. We have 3 seconds to pass. 3 seconds. The ball goes through the loop. One team wins.
Only one.
One loses.
We play to win.
Victory is an excellent reason to sing and dance. Men don't play netball.
Men just jump like goats.
They can't handle it. They are too serious. They can't take abuse from the women.
They complain.
It's about community.
It's about friendship.
Netball is for women, mothers, and daughters.
I'm a mother and a hustler.
A wife and a netballer. A mother and a netballer.
A player and a joker.
Who won the world? Girls, girls. Who won the world? 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 Girls.
anybody have any questions? Where can I get a shirt? We're going to be selling shirts online. I have a bunch with me if you want to come and get them. We are launching a movement, which we launched at South by, called the Stop the Pity Movement. We have people sign a petition saying they're ready to stop the pity and take their part in looking at people as more similar than different. So we've got some really cool things that we're going to roll out with that.
What's the website?
StopThePity.org. Anyone else? Yes?
What's netball again?
So netball is, it's really funny because when we shot this video, we wanted to make a video about women's stereotypes, and all they wanted to talk about was their netball team. And so one of our things is that we just do videos that people want to make about themselves, and that was what they wanted to do. So netball is a combination of ultimate frisbee and basketball, and it's really confusing, and I played it with these crazy women, and I'm terrible. And no one wanted me on their team. Anyone else? Okay, great. Thank you.